Hello, fourth graders. We're working on lesson 13.1, perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around a shape. Wait a minute. Make sure you write this down. Okay, so if I take a look at this rectangle, and that's what we're really focusing in on this time, the perimeter would be the measurement of the edges of this shape. There we have it. So with a rectangle, which is a type of parallelogram, we know that the opposite sides are parallel, which makes them equivalent in length. So we could just simply add all of the sides of the shape, the measures of the sides. I forgot my centimeters in here. And get our answer. 8 plus 8 is 16. 12 plus 12 is 24. 16 plus 24 is 40. Or we could use a very popular formula for the perimeter of a rectangle, and this works with rectangles or parallelograms, which would be twice the length, meaning 2 times the length, plus 2 times the width. And that's because there are 2 sides that are the width, and there are 2 sides that are the length. So I'm going to call the side with 12 centimeters the length. 2 times 2 groups of 12 centimeters plus 2 groups of 8 centimeters. 24 plus 16 equals 40 centimeters. Right, the edge is a line. A line is one-dimensional, so it's just centimeters, the unit. Oh, here we have a square. We can change the formula a bit when we're working with a square because we know a square has 4 sides that are the same length. So if you know one of them, you just need to multiply by 4 to get the perimeter. One of the things you want to be careful not to do, because we will be looking at area as well, is not to get these formulas mixed up. So 4 times the side length would give me the perimeter. In this one, I would just do 4 times 16. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 6 is 24. 40 plus 24 is 64 inches. And again, it's a one-dimensional measurement because the perimeter is just measuring the total length of all of the sides together. This is part of your homework. You will also be working on lesson 13.2 today, 2 lessons in 1. So I'm going to help you with this first one because you need to be able to put it into the formula. And if you look over here, you have the formula here for you again. So I'm just going to do the first one with you. I'll change my pen color. And we're going to work on this perimeter, the outside total length of this rectangle. And we only have 2 dimensions, but knowing what we do about rectangles, we know that the other side is the same length. So here we go. Perimeter equals, and here we have our formula over here, it's 2 times the length, and I'm going to put L, plus 2 times the width, and the length is 8, 2 times 8, and the width is 4, 2 times 4, 2 times 8 is 16, 2 times 4 is 8, 16 plus 8 is 24, and if you double check your work, 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 8 is 20, plus 4 is 24 feet. You do 2, 3, and 4. Don't shut the video off. We've got another lesson. Okay, so lesson 13.2 is area. An area is another measure, but it's a 2-dimensional measure. Area is the number of square units needed to cover a flat surface. Take some time to write that definition. And then let's take a look at this rectangle, which is 6 feet by 2 feet. Its base, which is another word for width when you're looking at a rectangle, is 6 feet. Its height, which is another word to use for length here, is 2 feet. What we can do is, it's almost like what we've been learning with arrays. We have a 2 by 6 array. 2 rows, 6 in each row. So that would be 6 square units in each row. Oops. Right, and those are all square units that cover that surface inside of the perimeter. So it's a 2-dimensional measure because we measure with square units. Therefore, the formula for area, we say with a capital A, area equals the base times the height. We can put the base in for B and the height in for H, and we end up with 12 square units. And in this case, it's feet because we're working with feet. So it's not just regular feet because that's just a measure of length, which is a line. It is square feet because we're measuring with squares. Here's a square. We have 2 sides of the square. One is the base, which is 2 meters. The other is the height, which is also 2 meters because it is a square. We can use the formula, area equals 2, which is the base, and times 2, which is the height. The area of this square is 4 square meters. We're using square units. So 2 by 2. 2 rows with 2 in each row. And that's 4 square units. Another way we can say the formula for the area of a square would also be the area equals one side times another side. Here's your work in finding the area of these rectangles. Make sure you're using your formula. In other words, before you start, write down the formula, area equals base times height, and then underneath it, write area equals, and put your numbers in, and then solve. And remember, area is in square units because it's the surface inside of the one-dimensional lines. It's a two-dimensional measure. So be sure to copy down the formula first, put in the numbers that you know, the dimensions that you know, and solve. Should have 3 lines, just like in the notes. Okay, well, I know this was a long lesson. We've got lots of work to do. Have a great weekend.